So what you gonna do, brother? We about to run wild with a style like no other. So somebody call Brodus Clay mother and tell her Richard runs other men like Ed Lover and Doc Dre. What Scott say, what they hang on every word like it's something that the Rock say. No JR, but they talking wrestling. We bring the noise with the boys, so we Dalton Castle. So masculine, oozing machismo, mutton chop shop, Gran Turismo. No free throws, snarl hoops and heels. It's D-Bron's retirement, give you the super feels. Straight shoot, it's real. Drop a pipe bomb, get ready to bull like the Rock's right arm. So stay calm, tranquilo. I'll go Naito and give him Destino. And we know that you chumps ain't ready for the heartbreak runs and the Cuban Genetti. They drop it heavy, tag teaming like Teddy. Long go strong with the heat like Eddie. So steady like when Taker walked the tightrope. Spaz like Taz with the mic and a tight choke. Dirtiest player in the game with the eye poke. 1988 Macho Man on a line of coke. These other cats are a waste, they boring. Illegitimate sons like Jason Jordan. And Richard Runz never give him respect unless they going on air with a broken frickin' neck. So bounce like Papa Pump's pecs. Every time they get down, they bound to catch wreck. Y'all don't know nada, they the Okadas. You're the Washington Generals, they the Globetrotters. A whole lot of podcasts in the scene, but Richard Runz running wild is the cast of your dreams. So it seems these two is too sweet. Bullet Club pulling up with schemes to delete. So retreat, we steal, we cheat, but I never lie, I swear on these beats. And these two got some styles for you, but what you gonna do when they run wild on you?
Oh, hell yeah. It's the Big Dog Red Tires. And you're listening to the Running Wild podcast. Because if you're trying to run wild, this is the place to do it.
Do you want to let everyone know that you get it? Do you not want to be a Melvin? Well, then listen to the Running Wild podcast. And if you don't, you know what you are.
I'm the last real man, Silas Young. And if you're any kind of man, you'll be listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Hi guys, this is Mandy Leon, and you're listening to the Running Wild podcast.
This is Sam Adonis, El Juro de las Chicas de CMLL, and you are listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got a special WrestleMania week independent wrestling preview. Basically, I don't want anyone to argue with us. Whatever is not WWE, we're doing in this episode. And then what we're going to do is next week, we're going to have the NXT and WrestleMania episode out early for you guys. We got lots of wrestling to cover, so we're going to jump right into it. Just before we hit the cards, I want to ask you two things. One, did you see Ronda Rousey's appearance on the Mike and Mike show or something?
Nope.
So basically, they asked her if she would ever go back to.
Okay, I heard that. Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't time travel" or something like that. And she totally was just being a jerk about it. I just think it's kind of amazing, and it's almost better than anything she's done on WWE TV.
Yeah, it's weird what they're doing with her on WWE because, there's a lot of times that she's talking, and maybe it's just her, but I don't think so. There's a lot of times that she's talking, and you're like, wait, what the hell? She can barely talk, you know what I mean? She seems nervous or whatever. And then usually there's a point where she turns it on and she's a lot better. So I'm guessing that that's kind of by design, when she gets that attitude, when she snaps, she's the badass. I get it. But it makes people feel like she's nervous or she's not all there yet. And granted, she's been, I don't know, it's been a weird start. I
mean, honestly, it's she's a first-year teacher, you have... Your lesson might start out a little rocky, but then it gets better at some points, and you find your strengths. I don't even think it's part of the act. Right. I think she's literally just developing in front of us. But keep her promos short, man.
Right. I don't think she should be talking, period.
Not that much if she does.
And maybe this is an intro and it'll slow down, but, just we'll have to see what happens with Heyman and Brock after Mania. But, to just throw Heyman with her, it just makes so much sense. And, you can start a whole, this is the UFC stable. You could do whatever you wanted. to play off of that stuff. And, so there's like an automatic relationship because of the UFC and because of the fighting. So it would just make sense.
All right, well, that's a little weird. Also, I recommend you guys going over to ESPN and checking out. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan, so seeing an article about how Goldberg said his most incredible sports experience ever was going into the Devils locker room after they won the Stanley Cup in 2000 in Dallas was just a really weird read, and it's actually written as an oral history, so it just has each guy talking about it instead of just like an article like telling you what happened. It's each guy just telling you, so it's actually pretty weird and kind of funny.
For the three people out there who
are wrestling fans and Devils fans
and enjoy Goldberg and the Devils. Go ahead, go read
that's our target group is Goldberg fans who are fans of the New Jersey Devils. I mean, that's got to be at least 1,000 to 2,000 of our subscribers easily. All right, well, so we're gonna start off our previews with More Than Mania, and then we'll end up with ROH Supercard of Honor.
We might as well start with New Japan Sakura Genesis, since that happens on April 1st. And it's a pretty decent card. The Young Bucks will be there, fighting Chase Owens and Takahashi, which, whatever, but that is a Bullet Club Civil War battle, so, I guess that means something for that storyline, however you feel about the other guys. But then we have Sho and Yo against Desperado, Kanemaru, and Takahashi and Bushi for the junior heavyweight tag titles. That could be a fun match.
Yeah.
Those tag titles always swap around, so, you never know who could end up with that. But either way, all six of those guys can go, and so that'll be a fun
Hope we get to see Chico the Luchador. That guy's a legend, man. I haven't been able to see him recently, so I hope he comes out with Roppongi 3K.
I'm not sure why he would come out with them. Yeah, so the next match would be the IWGP Junior Heavyweight match, which is Ospreay versus Skrull. Those guys kill it anytime they wrestle. Every time they wrestle, it gets better, seemingly. And, again, every time they're wrestling, they're adding, another page to the rivalry, another chapter, and so that's always, a fun match. So, what are your thoughts on that one? Ospreay's the champ, going against Skrull.
I don't know if Skrull's gonna end up winning this one. I mean, if you're just asking me to pick, I would go with Skrull because I just like Skrull a lot more than I like Ospreay. Although I think Ospreay's been wrestling a little differently since when I first was watching him, let's say when he got to Ring of Honor and stuff, there were certain times where I would just get annoyed by some of the flips, if I have to be honest. I think one time I saw him do a shooting star press to break up a pin, and I was just not off the top rope. He just ran. He could have just kicked the guy in the head, and he's like, no, I'm going to do a shooting star press. So I think his psychology has gotten a little bit better in terms of that, and I like their matches in particular because there's more story to it. I don't know, going into the weekend and going to next week, does Skrull have that title and then bring it to the ring against Castle? That's part of my thinking. So I think that Ospreay might end up winning somehow, or Skrull gets himself disqualified or something. I just think something where Skrull's protected, but he doesn't walk out with a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time they fought in singles action for the belt, Skrull beat him, and the story was that, death, taxes, and Skrull beats Ospreay. So then I believe that Ospreay beat him in the four-way to win it back. I could be wrong. New Japan has a lot of stuff going on. But so I think this is where Ospreay gets that win and, beats Skrull cleanly, one-on-one, puts a little bit of an end to it for now. He's getting the push in New Japan. He's, he's dedicated to that at this point. So I think he's the guy that goes over here and continues on to, whatever next big show they have, or even the next Wrestle Kingdom. The next match we have is Ibushi and Omega, the Golden Lovers, against Hangman Page and Cody. This will be a little bit of a preview for our Supercard of Honor match, so that'll be fun. And again, it's another chapter in this, ever-growing story. So obviously, this is going to be, a solid match that more so builds to Supercard of Honor and just the being the elite stuff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Page has been he's basically completely behind Cody and he's calling him the leader and everything. So I think you'll see that these guys, they'll work well together and they're backing each other up. I still think something might happen to cost so that the young lovers will win, as Jim Ross called them. Did you hear him say the young lovers are getting ready for the golden shower?
Yes. And I mean, this I guess we can just talk about briefly. Jim Ross is rough on commentary, man. I know it's blasphemy. I love that dude, but at this point, it's like he doesn't have energy. The knowledge is definitely lacking, and understandably so. But he's just not the guy that I want to hear calling, the New Japan shows.
Yeah, a little confusing. It's weird because you would figure that he would do more homework. I don't know what would prevent him.
He watches it on Access. Like, he calls it on Access. I don't know.
It seems like he doesn't know everybody. I don't understand it. The whole point of commentary
is getting older. I think that's all it is, and yeah, understandable. But, it gets to the point where, yeah, hearing his voice is still cool, but it's like heartbreaking because it's nowhere near what it ever was,
Yeah, I got to a point where I basically shut the volume down because I just wanted to see what was happening on the show, but the commentary was making it very difficult. Commentary is a big deal for me. I've said that before in the show. I don't like watching it with Japanese commentary. I only watch CMLL because I understand the Spanish commentary. Commentary is very important. So, I mean, I'd say that I actually enjoy some episodes of Ring of Honor television that may not be that great just because I enjoy the commentary that Riccaboni and Cabana do. So commentary can really make or break a show for me, and it's just weird that New Japan wants to present themselves with the voice that doesn't really represent them well.
But this is something that JR said. I think he was on Edge and Christian. He said that they don't work for New Japan. They work for Access. And Access tells them we're not promoting the show. We're not promoting the next show. We're not promoting a big pay-per-view. Just talk about the show. Just talk about the guys. And so, that's a weird predicament that maybe he doesn't care about. He doesn't have to care about New Japan because he doesn't work for them. He works for the TV side of it. So I don't really know how that works. But yeah, so I'm not sure New Japan has any say in it when their shows like that are on Access. But I would hope in the future we get better commentary on those shows because the show was pretty good. The Strong Style Evolved. I guess we could just talk about this before we get to the main event because it happened last week, and it was okay. It was a solid show. It just, built to Sakura Genesis and Supercard of Honor and the future matches that they're about to have. So it was what it was. The crowd was into a lot of the stuff, and the commentary could have made that show feel a lot bigger and better, but it lacked. And so while Golden Lovers Young Bucks was amazing, I really, really, really enjoyed that match. The commentary just wasn't there for it. Luckily, the crowd was, and that definitely helped.
Oh no, yeah, that match was really great. I mean, that match has been causing like fights online because some people are saying it's the best tag match they've ever seen, and then other people are responding like, "How many tag matches have you watched? Have you ever watched this match and this match?" And kind of that like weird gatekeeping where people can't just say like, "Hey, I really like this."
Right, and it's up there. I don't like saying things are the best I've ever seen because I'm sure there's something that I'd be forgetting, but it's up there with some of the best. And I'm sure people throw out like Brain Busters and stuff like that kind of matches and Rock and Roll Express, but I feel like this was, this generation of tag team wrestling. This was definitely one of the best.
100%. I mean, I think this is a good match.
Length, alone.
If anybody has a problem with, or in the past, saying that the Young Bucks don't sell and don't storytell and they're just about high spots, I mean, if you haven't seen it, go watch this match and come back and tell me that, because I don't think you can.
And the same people who say things like that forget, that's what the Hardy Boys did. It's all, you know what I mean? Like everything just kind of goes hand in hand there, and while people will leave out matches or superstars when they say things are the greatest of all time, people also leave out the negative side of things when they bring that up too. These guys have flaws, but so did all of these things. People like the Attitude Era was so great. Go watch some of those Attitude Era Raws now. They're not that great. Some of them are really, really rough to watch. Yes, stuff with The Rock and Austin and the top guys are still amazing, but some of the undercard things are a little rough. So, everything has its high points and low points. But back to current things, the main event should be, really, really fun, and I hope it goes at least like 35, 40 minutes because it very easily can. Kazuchika Okada defends against Zack Sabre Jr. A win for Okada would tie, I believe, or break. I believe tie. Tanahashi's defenses in a reign. Okada's reign is already the longest. It's pretty much 2 years. Just side note, could you imagine anybody holding the WWE or Universal title for almost 2 years and really no one, I don't know, maybe people do complain in Japan, but it doesn't seem that way on shows. Nobody cares. Everyone still loves the hell out of Okada.
Man, obviously, I can mention past guys, but now the problem
past
is
guys like who though? And nobody in the 90s. It hasn't been anyone since Hogan.
Since Hogan, yeah.
Right,
I could have seen, Brett could have held it longer. The Yoko reign I didn't really love, and that interrupted some of Brett's stuff. So I could have seen Brett holding it longer.
I think the guy could have been Taker, and people, I'm not sure, would have ever turned on him. Yeah, he could have just been dominant,
HBK
could
have done it.
Is a wrestler. HBK could have, but I don't know. Nowadays, there's no way that people would not turn on anybody. I don't think.
No, well, the product's overexposed. Does New Japan have a weekly show in Japan? I don't know that information. So, when you don't have that, I think it's like Tim Thatcher held the Evolve Championship for how long? And
people turned on him.
Well, yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm not. And Evolve isn't overexposed at all. And Thatcher is not Okada. I get that, but you're dead on about the overexposure, because they would end up defending the title too much. But I don't know, man. Even a year. I CM Punk. That was the guy. He held it for the 400 plus days, and it was amazing. But in that reign, he turned heel, and things went a different direction. But Okada has not done that. He's just been Okada. It's still amazing to watch him. It's fun to watch people try and beat him. It's really cool, and it's something that I'm not sure, like you said, because of the exposure and all of that. I'm not sure it ever could work in WWE, but man, it would be fun.
I mean, Brock's probably the closest to the.
Yeah, he's been holding it for a while, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna do it, you need to do it smart, the way they've done it, where he's not always around, because.
Right, and now look what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people to turn on Brock. So I don't know.
People are still cheering when he's beating the crap out of.
Right, man. It sucks. It sucks so much. Vince has to just be like, God damn it! I thought I had him. Yeah, all right. So Okada Sabre. I mean, hopefully this is long. It should be a lot of fun. Sabre just won the New Japan Cup with probably one of the craziest runs of all time. And the names that he beat. So he's a legitimate contender for Okada. When he gets him in some of those submissions, I'm sure the fans are going to be on the edge of their seats, and this should be a lot of fun. But I'm pretty sure Okada walks away.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, they've been positioning him really well, but I just don't see. Right. I don't see it happening here.
This is a case of they built Sabre up to be a legitimate contender, so that when Okada beats him, it means something.
Yeah,
and hopefully, this is something that in the future, it continues to mean something for Sabre, and it's not just a waste. But like we said, the names he beat in that run, I don't think this is a one and done shot for Sabre.
Oh no, not at all. He's gonna get another shot. Something's gonna happen. Heel. And he's just wrestling as a heel, so I think that works as well too. You can say anything.
Just imagine now, what a good decision this guy made, huh? By not signing with WWE after the Cruiserweight Classic, because now, I mean, as big and good as he was, he's blown up to other levels now, and it's pretty fun to watch.
What's more important, main eventing Sakura Genesis or being on the pre-show at 2:15 on WrestleMania?
Clearly, main eventing Sakura Genesis against Kazuchika Okada. Wow, just what a and at the time people were like, what the hell, why didn't he sign with WWE? What a dumb move. Yeah, good luck with that one, guys. And this is just another and as we'll talk about now even more so, this is just another sign of like, these guys can do well on the indies, or whatever you want to call them. They can do well outside of WWE, and they don't have to go to WWE. It's a lot of fun to watch them perform everywhere else.
It's going to be interesting. Well, speaking of interesting, that was a terrible segue. We also have the More Than Mania cards, which I believe this might be, like, if anything happens between me and my wife, you can look back at April 5th, 2018, 3 p.m. Oh, sorry, that's Central Time. So I guess that's 4 p.m. Eastern. And this will be when it started. When I started watching wrestling from Thursday through like next Wednesday. And she just said, enough is enough. Like Owen Hart, basically. It's time for a change, because I'm currently still rewatching WrestleMania. I'm going to watch Sakura Genesis at least a little bit. And then I'm going to start on Thursday with this nonsense, and this is crazy. So the first one that comes up is Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, which, the logo is exactly like the Van Damme movie, so it already got a reaction from me. I was looking out for it. All the matches are only by knockout or submission. So that's kind of a cool thing. Just like Bloodsport, the movie.
Right, and looking at the card, I mean, like, you can see why.
My God,
this, like, it's a little fun card. This it's going to be kind of crazy to watch, but like, it's going to be like a fun little test, right? Like, this is UFC wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this will be pretty cool.
The only thing that I wish, I know I'm asking a lot, but the original Bloodsport...
Like Chris Dickinson wasn't on the card? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, is that it's not a tournament. just because that's how that movie ended.
Right.
It was a tournament, so I would kind of like
If
to
it
see
was a
it.
tournament, someone would die.
Most likely, which is really interesting because New York has a wrestling commission, and apparently Louisiana does too, and like pile driver. So what it is WWE and Ring of Honor are exempt from these rules, but they basically have like Bill Watts era WCW rules. So if you're not wrestling for one of the major companies, you're not allowed to do pile drivers. You're not allowed to push people off the top rope. They're not allowed to push people over the top rope, throw people over the top rope. They're not allowed to slam anybody with weapons on the head. They are not allowed to bleed, which is interesting for Bloodsport. And they're not allowed to do moonsaults or 450 splashes where contact with the head is made, which is kind of confusing. So it's almost like don't botch. Like if you
botch, that's it. It's over for you.
Then you're in trouble. So there's.
And I mean, so far, like these things are good things, in my opinion. I don't like seeing moonsaults and stuff like that from some of these guys on these lower indie shows. And while a lot of guys on this show and a lot of guys on other shows are on Ring of Honor or are on these bigger name shows and are safer guys, there are some who may take some liberties at times and not be so safe. So I'm not opposed to some of these rules here.
I mean, looking at this Bloodsport card, on a side note, Matt Riddle versus Low-Ki, Nick Gage versus Timothy Thatcher, Dan Severn versus Chris Dickinson, Dominic Guarini versus Kyle the Beast, Tracy Williams versus Eddie Kingston, Masada versus Martin Stone, Walter versus Filthy Tom. Literally, these are all matches pitting guys that I would not want to really run into in an alley.
Right. And when I was looking at the card again, like that's exactly what I thought. It's all kind of tough guys, and so this is a fun card. It'll be cool to see how this plays out, and with all the knockout and submission rules, I wonder, if someone get knocked out in 10 seconds or something like that. So, this will be a fun watch and a good way to start off the week.
On a side note,
for early Easter and spring break this week, because I'm not sure there's a show on here that I'll miss if it's online anywhere for $3 or $10 or whatever the hell these streaming services cost.
I mean, is there any way that Riddle loses his match?
I don't believe so. That's his show. Right?
You're imagining you like
Joey Janela beat Marty Jannetty.
Well, I mean, I think that comparing.
I did not compare Low-Ki to Marty Jannetty. Let's be clear.
I don't want to do that because Marty Jannetty is so much tougher.
Low-Ki is not someone that I would like on my bad side. So,
I mean, I have. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I've spoken to Low-Ki, and he seemed nicer than Marty Jannetty because Marty Jannetty I've never spoken. So maybe if I had to fight one of them, I'd fight Marty Jannetty because I would fight Low-Ki because at least I know him.
No, you wouldn't. Nope, he would kill you. So anyway,
all right. So then we have Evolve 102.
Correct.
All right.
Now, this is another question of will Matt Riddle lose here? He's fighting for the Evolve Championship against that very same Zack Sabre Jr., who could walk into this match as the New Japan Heavyweight Champion, which would be mind-blowing. But, I've noticed that Zack Sabre hasn't had the Evolve title with him in New Japan, while he has had 2 of his other titles. Maybe he just forgot it. Maybe it was too much to carry. I don't know. But I don't know. Matt Riddle has kind of been going for the Evolve Championship his whole career. This is the WrestleMania show. So you gotta think this is Riddle's moment, right?
I would be crazy if Riddle just wins every single match that he's a part of the whole weekend.
I guess as we'll go through this, we'll call them. But so far, we're 2 for 2.
Yeah, I could see him beating Zack Sabre Jr. here. I think it's Matt Riddle's time. to be a top. I mean, he's been a top, but I think holding the Evolve Championship is, he had the WWN Championship, but it's weird. I know the WWE Championship is supposed to be bigger than Evolve, but in my eyes, the Evolve Championship is the belt.
Right, but inside of Evolve is should be the bigger title. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
I see that one. I'm interested in a way to see the Thatcher Walter team up against Sawa and Sekimoto. I don't really know much about those other guys. I know that I feel like it's heresy and people could spit at me because I don't know who they are, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, old school Japanese, that pass us by.
Yeah, so I don't, I was still...
Thatcher and Walter are a fun team. I've saw the team in PWG a couple times against the likes of like Cobb and Riddle and the Bucks, I think. So they're a fun team.
Yeah, I just don't want to see
Fox
Walter.
and Ospreay should be fun, but I don't know. AR Fox is another guy that I'm hot and cold on. I like what he does in the ring. Sometimes I feel he does a little too much, and I think considering this is being billed as a high flyer showdown, this is going to be, probably about 600 too many flips.
And then you have the tag team scramble. You have the...
Can 2 in at a time, no tags needed, first of all, wins it? So 2 teams in at once instead of 3, they're saying?
Yeah, I guess it's like lucha rules.
No tags needed, right.
Yeah,
okay.
type thing. So as long as one guy exits, it's fine. So I think it'll keep it fun.
And it says if Dickinson and Jaka lose the fall, they will lose the titles. What if they don't lose the fall? Does that mean
they keep the titles? So there's a chance that you could have the End destroy.
Is that what that means? I guess. Otherwise, it would be strange that they put it there, right? If it just meant that if they don't win.
Yeah. That's actually the opposite
so
of... Okay. This is...
I don't know.
Well, that'll be interesting to watch because I don't know what the hell this means.
Yeah, so I mean...
I want to see the End win.
It doesn't say for the tag team titles, right? So... It just says tag team scramble. So I guess... this is dumb. How many? Oh, so there's 4 teams in this? So if one of the other teams wins and doesn't win the titles, that's just dumb. I don't... Well,
let's wait till see. To be fair, we haven't discussed the next card, so maybe it makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll see.
Keith Lee against Darby Allin, Joy.
Darby Allin destroys him.
Yeah. And Austin Theory versus DJZ. That could be a little bit fun.
Stokely might be wrestling according to this. It says plus Stokely Hathaway, so.
I mean, he'll be in the corner of it.
All right, then.
Wow.
What?
The first match that I see for the Beyond show is Deonna Purrazzo against Matt Riddle. Okay. That's quite a stretch from Low Key and Zack Sabre.
Here's my new thing. Matt Riddle wins every match he's in this week, except for Deonna Purrazzo. He loses to her.
It's very possible.
That would be amazing. What other matches stick out from you to you on that card?
I don't think you want me to answer that question. Because nothing.
Okay. I'll definitely be watching the Beyond show. I've enjoyed some of their shows recently. I like seeing some of the talent they have up there. I like what they're doing with Verna being there. He's been kind of part of this like Long Island crew, and it's like the New York guys, so it's kind of fun to see them there. Rex Lawless and things like that. I like seeing. I like seeing a lot of their talent there, to be honest with you. It's just guys that... It's weird because it's guys from around here that go there, So you've seen MJF there. You've seen Stokely there, You've seen just local guys, and it's fun to see them get a bigger platform.
Right. It just seems like everything is tag team or a multi-person match or whatever. So it'll be a fun card. It always is. But, it's not... one of the most outstanding ones that I've seen on this list. The next card is Evolve 103, and I think this could help us answer at least one question, because Zack Sabre Jr. is not on this card. I'm going to assume that Matt Riddle is the Evolve champion heading into this Evolve vs. the World showdown. with Daisuke Sakamoto.
Matsuzaka.
I mean, I think that would be a perfect representation for you to have your Evolve champion in the biggest match on the show. Considering Saber's not on it. Yeah. So, these are just some solid one-on-one matches. Keith Lee, Austin Theory, Darby Allin, Walter. Everything else is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lee versus Theory, I think it'll be good. Theory's been just getting better and better each single time. The four-way looks fun with Kincaid, Williams, TJZ, and Fox. I think they'll have some crazy spots in there. And Thatcher versus Guarini, I think it's going to be interesting just because of the Stokely aspect on how he's kind of upset that he has to, basically end his former friend. So I like that story. I mean, to me, and the star of Evolve at this point for me is Stokely Hathaway.
Interesting.
I know it sounds crazy, but this guy's involved in everything, and he's, in terms of pure entertainment, he's really the most nuanced, entertaining guy on the Evolve roster. I think he gets anybody extra attention. Listen,
right? He is a great manager, and he brings extra, like you said, extra attention to anyone he's managing. But I love Stoke, but I don't go to Evolve to watch him. He's a bonus. He's a great bonus. But, I don't think he's selling tickets necessarily.
Fair point. Okay. But I don't know, looking back on it, some of my favorite moments generally involve Stoke being ridiculous, and I don't know. He just adds so much to every time. Every time he's there, he adds a lot.
Yep. And so the next show is Mercury Rising. Now, I guess I take back what I just said. Because Keith Lee defends against the same guy that Matt Riddle is fighting the day before, Daisuke Sakamoto. So I wonder if he gets 2 title matches in a row and loses both. That would be strange. It says Zack Sabre defends against Minoru Sawa. So that could easily just be a one-on-one. And then Riddle fights Ospreay. So that could be an Evolve title match, right? I mean, that would be cool, but I don't know. I hate when all these cards happen at the same time, and there's no point in trying to figure out what the hell is going to actually happen with titles and things like that. But yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll say that Riddle beats Ospreay, right? And nothing else on this show really stands out to me.
I mean, can I just say
Dickinson
something?
and Jaka against Walter and Thatcher could be cool.
Okay, but looking at this, right? What I don't understand is why not? I guess you're going to do 3 shows, right? But this being a WWN Supershow, there's just a Shine match. Everything else is Evolve guys.
Right. It's worse than Evolve 102, basically.
Yeah, they should, I don't know, consolidate shows and make each stronger, but that's just me.
I don't see the need for Evolve to have 3 shows this weekend. We just went through how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows, and Matt Riddle's on all 6 of them. I'm sure he's going to be on the other 5 too. But so that's a lot, Matt Riddle. I love the guy, and I will happily watch him on 11 straight shows in 4 days. But damn, by the 11th show, I'm probably going to be like, all right, cool. I just saw this guy wrestle, 10 other times.
It would be funny because, for example, the WWN show is Friday night at 8 p.m. and then the next show that I want to talk about is Friday night at 11:55 p.m. Joey Janela Spring Break. With Riddle wrestling so much, could you theoretically just fall asleep during a Riddle match because you're tired, wake up, and then there'd be another Riddle match on? Wait, I thought he was wrestling this guy.
And then he's wrestling, and then you wake up to see him wrestling James Ellsworth.
Oh, yes. So Joey Janela Spring Break, crazy. I mean, just they're just absurd here. You've got Joey Janela versus the Great Suzuki, Mike Quackenbush, he's the brains behind Chikara versus David Starr, Walter versus fucking Quebecer Pierre Carl Ouellet. And this dude, I saw a video, and look, okay, I could have been tricked. This might have been a gimmick rebar bar, but those like iron rebar like bars, like with the striations and everything. This dude is just like working out, and then he just takes one and he's like, and he bends it around his fucking neck. He bends it around his neck, and that dude looks so jacked and scarier than when he wore the eye patch that I believe he did that. Like, this dude is crazy. So that match with Walter is going to be they're just going to beat the crap out of each other.
Right. So that'll be cool. Nick Gage and Penta. It's always fun to see Penta. Ellsworth Riddle will be what it is. And the clusterfuck, which, I mean, last year gave us Glacier and
the Invisible Man
just going into business for himself. The Invisible Man. That'll always be great. Joey Janela, Spring Break 2. Last year was a lot of fun. So I'm sure this one will be just as insane as that one.
Yeah, because that one, everything else takes itself so seriously. This is what I like about this. This is one of those weird shows that, and I think there's going to be great attendance. It's late at night. People are going to be kind of rowdy. The clusterfuck, I mean, I have a dream that maybe Cena ends up joining the clusterfuck and takes on the Invisible Man. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Imagine, like, they wouldn't be able to see each other. That would be just absolutely bonkers. But I don't think we're going to get that. But I'm still looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 Progress shows with loaded rosters, but they haven't announced any matches yet. So both of those shows I'm sure will be awesome just based on the talent that they have, but they don't have any cards, so that's why we're not just ignoring those shows.
And
however, we will ignore the next one and the last show from More Than Mania. We have Keith Lee versus Nick Gage and Riddle versus Dave Christ in bracket A. Could go either way, but I mean, you gotta assume Riddle at least wins his. Gage and Lee could really go either way. What do you think about those?
That's weird because so I see Riddle winning. I kind of see Gage.
I think so too.
But the final confuses me. What do you have, Gage versus Allen? That would be...
Yeah, I mean, like Henry versus Kincaid and Allen versus Tracer X. Wow, Henry or Kincaid can go either way. I think Henry gets that win. Maybe, I don't know who Tracer X really is, so I'll give the win to Allen there. So maybe you have like Riddle Henry or Gage Henry.
I don't know.
Gage Allen, I guess you could have.
I like the idea of Allen like scrapping his way to the finals just to get obliterated by Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I'm Nick Gage. Just
Yeah.
like, imagine.
So I mean, whatever. The guys in that tournament are good workers and should be big guys in the future for the Indies. So that'll be a fun little card to I guess wrap it all up. So Evolve. I mean, I know it's not Evolve, but they have Evolve 102, Evolve 103, the Mercury Rising show, and then Style Battle. Damn.
That's a lot of wrestling, my friend.
That's just Evolve. Like, that's 4 shows in itself. Like, I don't know, man. That seems like a lot for Evolve to run at one time, but I understand why.
I mean, if you're thinking about it from a marketing standpoint or from a business standpoint, you don't know when people are getting down to the area, so learn as many as you can, see who shows up.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I guess let's transition to Supercard of Honor.
Nah, let's just forget about it. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
I would literally be so upset right now. All right, so I'm reading in no particular order because I'm just reading the matches from the card as of announced right now from Wikipedia, which I have to be honest is usually more up to date than the Ring of Honor site, so that's why I went there first. So we have the Briscoes defending against the team we always see together, Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi for the tag team championships. I love Lethal. Tanahashi has amazing hair. I actually got to see a video about him talking about his hair care the other day, and how he'll never cut his hair again because that really upset the fans. But there's no way the Lethal and Tanahashi win. I mean, it'll be it'll be a good match, but the Briscoes have just been on a ridiculous tear. They're establishing themselves as like the tag team. Nobody can mess with them because they're nuts, and they'll destroy you. And then they're going to lose to a random teaming of a New Japan guy who's not going to be around?
Right. So now, I mean, this is just... I don't understand the booking, really, because it's not like you don't have other tag teams that, aren't in real matches or high-profile matches. But I guess this is giving the Briscoes the ability to say, hey, we beat Jay Lethal and Tanahashi.
Yeah.
So that's fine, but I don't know. Yeah, like, it'll be a fun match. It'll be cool.
You're adding more stars to the card. I mean, it's really what they're doing.
Right, and I just don't get this, like, what they've done. Like, why aren't the Bucks wrestling the Briscoes? Wouldn't that make sense?
Well, yeah, but I think there's can you go wrong putting the Bucks with Gordon together in a ladder match? But that's going to be.
But why take out the Kingdom?
Oh well, I mean, do you want to get into that? I mean, I like to keep it positive on this show, but I don't really understand why the hell. I mean, the last episode of Ring of Honor Television featured, in my opinion, 75% too much Bully Ray. All right, he comes out while the Kingdom's cutting a promo. Because he's the enforcer of the Code of Honor, right? He's not an authority figure. But he comes out and he says, you suck. Because you should always put over talent. That's what general managers do on the other shows, right? They're just like, you know what? You guys really suck. So he actually comes out and says they suck.
That is what they do.
No. What general manager do you know has told the talent that have been champions, you suck?
Really? What was it? I don't know. I guess 3 years ago, a little guy named Daniel Bryan being told he's a C+.
Okay, well, yeah, but they're not. But he's a face. They're Bully Ray's coming out like.
Okay, all right. Okay, from that side of it.
Yeah, he's burying the heels.
The face, yeah.
He said on TV, "You suck, and you can't. You're not wrestling a Supercard of Honor, and you're not allowed to be anywhere near us."
So obviously, this leads to something with them, right? But what? Like, who cares to watch the Kingdom against Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, and
oh, Jesus
Spike?
Christ.
I don't even know who else is out there.
Please don't do this to me.
Yeah, why would they, like, this is so frustrating because, the Kingdom, we've been talking about them for a better part of the year of, you've been a fan of Taven's work on and on, out of the ring, in and out of the ring. I've enjoyed the Kingdom as a trio. We were upset about the injury and how they just lost the belts, and now nothing came from it. I was excited. Maybe this was them getting their shot, getting the titles back, stick it to Bully Ray that way. Instead, they just get pulled. And I understand they'll probably be there, and they'll be doing something and have some type of angle. Maybe they'll get added to the match. I don't know. But looking at that, just looking at that decision in itself, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I'll just continue with what he did that episode. So he does that. Then he comes out while Kenny King and Silas are brawling. They brawl from the back to the front. And then he comes out and Kenny King whispers to him. And then he goes, "No, you do it." And then King announces that there's going to be a last man standing match between him and Silas Young. Now, I don't even understand why Bully was out at that point either. I mean, he literally he just came out and left. And then he comes out at the end of the show to then say that the new challengers for SoCal Uncensored are Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks. And I'm just like, you had to be in 3 goddamn segments? Is this a joke? You're clearly an authority figure. You're not just an enforcer for the Code of Honor. Like, I just
right.
There's no reason. And listen, you have an enforcer. For me, an enforcer of a code of honor would be somebody who was a Ring of Honor mainstay who
actually wrestled under the code of honor.
Yeah, Cody. I mean, not Cody. I'm sorry. Definitely
Bully?
not Cody because I did. Bully. I mean, made every match. Somehow made every freaking match a street fight. Because that's part of the code of honor. Literally coming out when him and the British World Champions like, you know what? You know what the fans would really enjoy? For this to be a street fight. And then they would just have street fights every freaking match. Like, come on, man. Enough with this nonsense. All right. Back to the positive. I'm really excited to see Silas Young versus Kenny King in the Last Man Standing match. I listen, you know I love Young. I don't understand why the title's not on him. I don't see him winning it, though, just because we have Austin Aries looming.
Right.
And that story of Aries and King is just better than Young and Aries because of their backstory.
Man, I don't understand this card at all. It should be King and Aries. It should be the Bucks and the Briscoes. I don't know.
Well, I can take a break from. I mean, Bucks and Briscoes happen so often. It probably will happen.
Bucks and SoCal hasn't happened so often.
Oh,
Is
well,
that some type of joke?
No, but the pairing with Flip is it was a feel good moment seeing Matt shake his hand and then not. I don't know if you saw the clip, but Matt shakes his hand. Like Flip finally goes, all right, goes to shake the hand, and then Matt pulls him doesn't let go. And Flip looks, and he's like, and then Matt pulls him in for a hug instead of super kicking him. Or where do you think you're going?
I saw that.
So I really.
So that's it. That made them a team.
Well, they've been helping him out. They're cool, I don't know. They want him to get booked on All In. I like it. So
I guess this is Cody threw Nick down, right? Or at Strong Style Evolved. Now they're teaming with Flip, who Cody dislikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this could be another wrinkle in their personal storyline, and the Bullet Club in general. Maybe Flip gets added to, I don't know, whatever a new group is.
That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
I guess, man, Flip is, I don't know. He's one of those guys who he's entertaining, but I don't think he's ready to carry that singles load, and putting him in the 6-man is a good way to cover that element of it. But I don't know.
I think we could have said the same thing about Paige a year ago, and now I think Paige is.
Well, I said the same thing about Paige
last week. Oh, that's right. All right, so agree to disagree.
I was going to go into that as well, which he's doing too much, and I get it. He's trying to establish all that, and so that maybe in the future he doesn't have to do it all as much. But it's too much, man. It's too many flips. It's too many. This guy's gonna die at some point, and he's too big of a wrestler to be doing all of that.
Yeah. All right. Just so we're official here, we both agree with Briscoes. I'm going Young. Are you going King or Young?
Yeah, King.
I mean King. I'm going King.
Aries.
I meant yeah. Then in the 6-man ladder match, I'm gonna say. See, the thing is, it would really piss Cody off if Flip won the titles.
Right.
But at the same time, you have that storyline where SoCal, their the Addictions contracts aren't going to be renewed at the end of the year.
Right.
So them holding the titles, but I don't think they hold it till final battle. But that would be a good story too, because if they go into final battle as champions, they could be, hey, you can't fire us, we're your champions. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna go. With.
I'll just say the Bucks and Flip, just because. Why else put them in the match?
All right, so I'll say SoCal just because I want to be opposite and have some disagreement with you on the show.
Sure.
Then we skipped over Ishii versus Martinez.
Probably correctly so.
What do you? Ishii wins here? I mean, Punishment.
No, I think Punishment will get the win in just a crazy,
tough match,
hard-fought match. Yeah.
Okay. I could see that one going either way. The truth is, Punishment can lose, and I don't think it'll. If he has a strong match with the Ishii, if you fight that dude and survive, you're
Right.
you're
Right.
respected. So
Yeah, but Ishii's not like in the prominent position he was, a year ago or
he still
or
scares the
whatever.
bejesus
So,
out of me, man.
right, he's still a maniac, but
He's so scary.
I don't think he's like untouchable, like he was last
True.
year. So,
All right.
punishment is on the rise. So I think he'll get the win. This is a match I won't really be intrigued by.
All right, then we have Hangman Page versus Kota Ibushi.
This is gonna be fun, but this is a match that sets up Page to do all his crazy spots, right?
Yeah, I think Page goes over here, unless there's interference. If it's a straight 1-on-1 match, I think Page should win. It's ROH. Ibushi's not really going to be around that much. He's not. I don't know. I just don't see a reason for Ibushi to win here.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not the biggest fan of his. I mean, I just like Page better. I like him as the angry cowboy who's frustrated about Joey Ryan pouring urine in his mouth and things like that. So,
sure.
What we didn't talk about earlier, but it's going to come down to this really. There are pre-show matches between for the Women of Honor tournament where you have Sumi Sakai versus Tennille Dashwood and Kelly Klein versus Iwatani. I think Klein wins. I think Dashwood wins. I think the finals are Klein and Dashwood. And like I wrote about like 2 years ago, before they even had a title, I had always kind of said that I thought that Kelly Klein was like the beast of the division, and I think that Kelly Klein wins the title. I mean, if Dashwood wins, you set up some issues because she's kind of the outsider, but the Klein won her match against Mandy Leon by tapping out, but the ref couldn't see it, so she like tapped on Leon's leg while the referee was like, trying to check out the hold, and Leon released the hold thinking that she won because of the tap out, but Klein was like smiling as she did it, so it didn't seem like she got away with tapping out and not losing. It looked like she purposely made Leon think she tapped out to get out of the move and then win the match. So I think you could have Klein win, and then you could have Klein and Leon later down the line. So I'm going to call it Kelly Klein is your first Women of Honor champion.
I just think having the notoriety and name of Dashwood and her popularity, it would behoove them to give her the belt and make her the first Women of Honor champion. I get it; she's not the homegrown talent that Klein has been, but she's the bigger star, and sometimes for a company like Ring of Honor and a new title, that might help, establish it a little more. Maybe she goes to other places and she's carrying the title with her. So I don't know.
See, you know what I could see? I could see somehow Joey Styles joins the podcast. Christmas comes around, and then we're all hanging out. You hand Joey Styles a gift. You don't give me anything. And you're like, you've brought us so many more listeners, Joey Styles. I appreciate that. And given to Neil Dashwood, that title is like, hey, Kelly Klein and Women of Honor who have been around the entire time. You know what? We're going to give it to this new person because they've brought us more notoriety. I'm like, hey, you're just shaking your head like you would do that. I just,
I mean, I'm not sure that I would give Joey Styles a gift, but I'm just, you acknowledge when things go a certain direction, don't you?
Oh my God. I can't believe you did that. All right, moving on. The last two matches. So I'm going to read it as the way it's listed here. I don't know any inside information, but it's Castle versus Skrull is the semi-main, or as we call it in the past, the double main event, which you cannot do because there's only one main event. But Dalton Castle versus Marty Skrull for the ROH World Title. I really like the idea of this match. I've liked the build up for the most part. I'm a Marty Skrull fan. I like the battle of these two characters. I still think it's too early for Castle to drop the title, but there's a part of me that feels like the crowd, the fans are ready for Marty to take the title, and it would make the Bullet Club stuff. Imagine you have Marty win the world title, and he's kind of on Cody's side, and then you've got maybe the Bucks and Flip win the title. Like, it would make things really interesting heading into the main. You could even have like basically you could have the ROH champions flanking the ring, like watching this the final match. But I still think it's too early. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a good match, but I think that Castle retains.
Yeah, it would be a cool story if like every Bullet Club member wins except Cody, and then Kenny's like, "Look, you see, we're all winners." Or Cody could even say that, we're all winners, not this guy. So that could go. That would be an interesting story, but for some reason I feel like they all lose, and it goes the opposite way. I would love to see Marty get this belt and be the Ring of Honor champion, because I just think he would carry it better, or be presented better than Castle has been. And that's not Castle's fault. Everyone wanted to see Castle win it, and myself included. I was thrilled by it. I thought it was good, but they haven't done anything with him. Sometimes I even forget that he is the champion, and that's really unfortunate, because forever the Ring of Honor title has meant more than anything. And lately, being the elite is a lot more important than the Ring of Honor world title. Again, I understand it, because it's kind of the same thing that I just said with the Women of Honor title. You don't lose anything by having Kenny and Cody I guess, maybe it's unfair to Marty and Dalton, but I don't know, man. Like, your main event is a storyline that doesn't really happen in Ring of Honor, right? Like, it's happening in New Japan. Kenny's not, unless he's going to be around more often, which would be awesome. Kenny's not a part of Ring of Honor. Like, so I don't know. I would rather see Marty and Dalton as the main. These are two stars that should be carrying Ring of Honor for the next few years, and this is like a cool main event, and instead it's the second match, it's the second main event, and that's really unfortunate. I hope Marty wins, but I don't think he will. So this is a weird spot that they put Castle in, because Marty's probably more popular than him right now. So, like, people are going to be on Marty's side. And Dalton is a very clear babyface. So it's going to be interesting how this one plays out.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I think I also agree with you that it should be the main. I'm just prepared for it to not be.
No, yeah, 100%.
And then Cody versus Omega. I mean, this is weird. So I'm going to go with Cody here, just because I think that this is building to some sort of War Games type match at All In, where you have Cody's Bullet Club versus Omega's Bullet Club, and maybe whoever side wins are no longer part of the Bullet Club. And if Cody wins here, he can have so much shit to talk for the next couple of months.
Wow. The Bullet Club War Games thing just kind of blew my mind. I'm just thinking of, Kenny, the Bucks, and then maybe you have Flip, or,
yep.
Cody. See, so now, let's just see, now this is, so who would you have? Cody, Marty, Paige, and no one yet, right? They don't have a fourth guy?
Yeah, not yet. But I think there'd be someone, man.
Right. Obviously, there'd be someone. But, I wonder if, this could be a situation where we're in the match and, Flip turns on the Bucks, and you know what I mean?
He could do that. He could do that here, and then Flip is with them, and then Ibushi. So it's Kenny, Ibushi, and the Bucks versus the. Oh man!
Right, so that would make
Flip turns on the Bucks during the. Oh man, this is.
Right, it's not going to happen because it never does. But man, this would be
What
awesome.
if he goes to shake their hands in the middle of the ring, like when they hit a good spot, like towards the end of the match, and then he just super kicks Matt
you can't
Jackson?
wrestle the whole match with him and then turn. So like
Really?
that's maybe it happens, down the line somewhere. Not necessarily here. Maybe they win the 6-man title. Maybe all is good, and then whatever, something happens. But Cody has been whispering in his ear, so you could always have that. So that would be cool. Yeah, that would be pretty crazy. I agree with you. Cody is part of Ring of Honor. Kenny is not really, and Cody could 100,000 trillion% cheat to win here, some way or another. Outside interference, Barry, Brandy, someone, something, anything, whatever. Someone could happen. Someone could show up, or so. I'll agree with you there. But Kenny is Kenny, so that could always go either way. You never know how New Japan wants things booked. But him being with the Golden Lovers now and not chasing Okada and that sort of thing directly at the moment, maybe that works in Ring of Honor's favor a little bit here, and Cody can get a big win.
Totally agreed. All right, so that was our huge independent WrestleMania week preview. Did we leave anything out?
I don't think so. I mean, if we did, God help us, because we covered 12 shows and none of them WWE. So.
Yeah, so as we said earlier in the show, next week we'll be covering the WWE. We'll be previewing NXT and WrestleMania. So please send us your thoughts about our predictions for this week, because we have plenty of time before the shows, and your predictions for next week. So you can send those predictions for WrestleMania, NXT, or any of these shows that we just talked about over to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can send it to us on Twitter at runningwildlwos and on Facebook at runningwild on wrestling. You can follow my Ring of Honor coverage. I'll have a written preview up of the show where my thoughts from today might switch 9 times because of my mind-blowing War Games idea. That'll be up on ROH World and pwponderings.com, and I'll be doing live coverage of the show as well, but you don't need to know about that till next week. All right, so with all that out of the way, I just want to remind you that you've been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.
For Rich and Runz, this is the host of Ring of Honor Wrestling, Ian Riccaboni, signing off. Be sure to join them next week for another episode of the Running Wild Podcast.